have a very unique show for you today, folks. We're on the Bud Car, which is a train that runs from Sudbury to White River here in Northern Ontario. And we're talking about 51 potential stops, and it covers 300 miles through the woods, past lakes. You can go to a fishing lodge or to an outpost camp. It's amazing. And today we're going to Lodge 88, and it's going to be a pretty cool adventure. We've only got a day and a half of fishing in there. I can't wait to get there.
Coming up on this week's episode, Bob heads north to White River and Lodge 88 in Ontario's Algoma district. Bob and his guest, Cam Thompson from Berkeley, are on Esnoggie Lake, casting soft and hard baits for midsummer pike and walleye. Offering top-notch accommodations, fishing, and many other outdoor activities, fly in or train in, you'll be glad you came to Lodge 88.
Wow. Thump, thump, thump. Here we go, boys. Wow-wee. That thing is a monster.
They fight hard, don't they?
Look at that magnificent fish.
Look at the size of that fish.
There he is again.
The color is incredible. Yeah, that's a nice one.
The Real Fishing Show with Bob Izumi.
All right. That is a big rainbow trout, Chris. Nice double header. Whoa.
Nice jump.
Yeah. All right. Man, that is so cool. Another one, there we go. The biggest pike I've ever caught. Look at that chunk.
Real Fishing is sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water, and Tim Hortons.
On the Real Fishing Show, we make catching fish like this a possibility. Well, who would ever thought more than 3 decades later I'd be standing on an island here on Esnoggie Lake up here in Northern Ontario in the Algoma district with my old buddy Cam Thompson from Pure Fishing. Pure Fishing, for you folks that don't know, is all those wonderful brands: Fenwick, Abu Garcia, Berkeley, Pfluger, Spiderwire, Stratton, Hodgman. You guys got so many great lines. Sabile,
A lot of great
Johnson.
brands,
You know, and we go back a long time. I think I met you around 1980 or so. I can't remember.
It must have been around that time. That'd be about when I started in the tackle business. But I think we could pinpoint it because when you and I first met, we were both skinny, and one of us had hair.
Oh, okay. I don't know what he's talking about, but I got the short end of the stick. Yes, I was pretty much had long flowing hair. I used to watch it blow in the wind behind the Ranger.
Behind the Ranger, yes, I can picture that.
Well, you know, that goes back a long time, and here we are on this great trip. We took a train in called the Bud Car out of White River, and we stayed at White River Motel for one night. So we flew into Sault Ste. Marie from Toronto, and then we drove, what, about 3.5 hours?
Yeah, up to White River.
Yep, stayed at the motel there, had a great stay, great meal at the restaurant right beside the motel, and then the next day, boarded a train. I've never trained into a lodge before. Have
No,
you?
it was beautiful. Great ride, though, eh?
Yeah, and it was so quiet and smooth. Came down to Lodge 88, and they just met us right at the tracks. And we've been fishing for pike. We've been fishing for walleye. Let's have a look and see what's been happening the last day and a half up here. There we go. This feels like a decent fish, actually. I thought I'd go with a little bit different presentation. I love my swim baits, and that Berkeley Power Bait Rib Shad is my absolute favorite swim bait. Yeah. There we are. All right. And that's the bait. I got it threaded. I'll show you in a second on a jig head. And very cool. Very cool. Well, back in the water. I can hear some yelling in the background. They must be, oh, get back here. Oh. Whoa, he kicked it into high gear. Now, what I like to do is Texas rig this with a belly weighted hook for largemouth bass in the weeds.
But there's no belly weight on that one?
No, that's just a jig head threaded in. Just since it's August fishing, I want to get down there, you know, and that's just got more weight to it at a 1/2 ounce. We're drifting in a bit, so I'll just back up.
If you got another one of those jig heads, I'll put on one of those big ripple shads.
No. Yeah, I got some. You've got a ripple shad
I
on
have
there.
an appropriately sized bait.
When we return, the Uncle Rico Ripple Shad for Pike. Stay tuned. Closed captioning is brought to you by BoaterExam.com. Let's take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View, sponsored by Toro. Count on it. As a regular viewer, you know the Fish Eye View is composed of a dozen or more shots. Due to requests to see more, we decided to present one continuous and uncut sequence. In this case, it's big crappies on the Trent Canal system in Ontario. To make things challenging, we used an unscented and oversized minnow on a 1/4 ounce jig head. Putting these slabs into perspective, that's a 3-inch bait. Did we mention it was hookless? Knowing crappies are nearly always triggered by a rapid up-down action, we played around with more of a finesse presentation. No question that stationary baits were viewed with suspicion, and it was interesting to observe the subtle changes in action that triggered strikes. This demonstrates how easy it is to over-finesse the fish. Also of note is how quickly they hit and spit a bait, which would make setting hook a difficult task. This particular fish stretched it to the limit, and he really couldn't make up his mind. At the same time, these strikes barely registered on our rod, easily passed off as tiny fish. Without an underwater camera, just imagine how many opportunities are missed.
Oh, he hit you right by the boat, didn't
Yeah.
he? Oh, little guy.
That's a really generous host attitude, Bob. Oh, a little guy. Oh, he's off.
Hey, I guess for the size of fish you just lost, I'm probably using too manly of a size of power bait. What do you think?
Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh, that's a bigger one.
it's nice. He ate it. Look at that thing. Let's get it sideways in his mouth. There, buddy. Funny thing is, I wasn't marking any weeds cam on the depth finder.
Right.
And there's one piece of weed on the surface there that's a cabbage weed sticking out. So I said, well, they must start here somewhere. So there we go. Mr. Pike, thanks for coming out and playing. It's funny because this one here swam towards me, and then all of a sudden I didn't even feel it, didn't feel anything on my line. And he must have came up from behind and was swimming towards me with it. And there's the cabbage weed. This is key weed right here for pike fishing. It doesn't matter, pike, muskie, smallmouth, largemouth, that weed puts off a lot of oxygen.
That weed was a nice bright green color.
Yeah,
Does
very
the color
key.
matter?
Absolutely. Green, crispy cabbage weed as opposed to dying cabbage weed is so important.
So look for the same kind of stuff you'd look for in the grocery store.
Exactly.
Green and fresh.
Yeah. Oh, you got one? He's going.
Excuse me, Bob.
Oh. There we go.
Get that monster bait away from my beautiful little fish.
He's going around about. He's taking you around.
Ooh,
Oh, where's your bait at?
it's completely gone.
Now, you've got a ripple shot.
I
on
have an
there.
appropriately sized bait.
Oh, there, I see your bait. It's, you know he took it well when it's coming out down here. This is his bottom of his bait was sticking out here, but you got to check this color. I'm gonna release the pike first, okay? And then you got to check the color of his bait out. Now, what is this ripple shad color called?
That is called Uncle Rico.
Oh, Uncle Rico, good old Uncle Rico, chartreuse gills, pink under part of his face and a purple back. Yeah, I know that color. Well, there it is. Uncle Rico comes through. You know, Cam, with a lot of the travel restrictions now, you know, whether you're flying or just different modes of transportation, it's hard to pack for a lot of these trips because you can, you know, take so many pounds. And sometimes a big rod tube with one-piece rods can be a little cumbersome, can it?
Yeah, and expensive too. They charge you for extra bags and stuff. So if you can pack your rod in your duffel or even carry it on the plane, you can save yourself some money. Plus, you're sure that you've got a good rod in good shape when you get there.
Well, nowadays, you know, there's some really great travel rods out, and the folks at Fenwick have got a couple of different series, and I'm holding one of the Methods rods, and what have you got there?
I've got the Fenwick Eagle. The Eagle's a more basic version. It's less than $100. This one's a 6.5 foot medium fast,
Right.
but it's 3 pieces, and so it goes down plenty small enough to get it in a duffel bag or a carry-on. The Methods, though, it's really kind of unique. It's a little more expensive rod, but it comes with extra sections. You've got an extra tip section and an extra mid section. You can actually change the action of the rod just by changing up the different sections.
Well, you've got one butt section,
Yeah.
both in casting and spinning, in 2 different lengths. So you've got 2 models of spinning, 2 different lengths in casting. And the cool thing is with the 2 different mid sections and tip sections, you can get actually 4 actions in one rod.
Right, sure. Sometimes there's surprises too, right? We came here primarily on a walleye trip, found out the pike fishing was hot. You can change up the midsection tip, make it a medium heavy.
Yeah, exactly. And the case they come in is great. You know, you've got this hard case, so you can just carry it right on the plane, train, as we did in this trip.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, this is pretty cool, folks. Nowadays, there's so much great tackle out there to get the most out of this sport. I'm sure he knows what name of the lake
Yeah.
it is.
Drop shotting for walleye on Asnagi Lake when we return. Stay tuned. This tip of the week is sponsored by Coleman, the outdoor company.
I'm here with Crystal Tonkin from Columbia Sportswear, and Crystal's my favorite girl at Columbia.
Aww.
Well, you know what? We've had some fun over the past year, you know, shooting videos, and you got something really cool that you're going to show me here. What's this all about, this color?
Yeah, for sure. So this is our solar camo shirt. This is actually new for our spring 2015 collection for PFG. And so, yeah, you've got one on, and we've got a knit version on this mannequin right here. And I figured we could demo the technology a little bit if you're okay with me pulling out the...
Hey, well, I know that you definitely, I don't have one of those. I don't use those, but apparently I understand they used to dry hair.
That's true. Actually, most people today are like, what do you do in your hair? Nope, I'm actually just showcasing the technology.
Okay, let's see, what have you got?
So it's actually a UV activated camouflage. So by exposing it to the sun's warm rays, there are parts of the fabric that turn lighter.
Wow.
And then in conjunction with...
Okay, so you've got the light spots that are highlighted
Yes.
with the heat.
Yep,
So if you're out in the sun with the solar camo, it's going to change colors.
that is correct.
You go inside, it's going to go darker?
It's going to turn back to normal, with the exception of these darker clouds, which actually turn, and I say clouds, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So the darker parts actually get a little bit darker in conjunction with your body temperature. So it's a 2-pronged activated technology here. So this camouflage is ultimately to help mask you from the fish. So we worked with a scientist here in Florida who'd collected data on lighter colored birds and darker colored birds and which birds caught more fish. And so what he'd come to the conclusion of was that the lighter ones, or at least his theory is that the lighter ones catch more fish because they look more like clouds to the fish.
So I've got to start looking for lighter colored birds out on the water.
And then see what they're chasing.
Very cool, very cool. Now you say that this will change colors both from your heat and
Yes.
from the sun.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And how about UV protection?
UV protection, great question. So this has got UPF 40 sun protection factor.
So you don't need to wear sunscreen if you're covered with one of these Columbia shirts.
You got it.
All right, Solar Camel here with Crystal Tonkin. Thanks, Crystal.
Thank you, Bob.
You're the best. Hey, it's no wonder they say it's time to leave the ordinary and step into the extraordinary with North to Adventures Lodge 88. This wilderness facility offers all of the comforts of home and then some. Exceptional staff, home-cooked meals, and very clean, comfortable accommodations made this an enjoyable experience for all of us. My brother Wayne and I had a number of friends join us on this memorable trip. John and Linda Ward, Frank Guida, Brian Hughes and his fiancée Anais Chavez joined us for this memorable trip. All right. That's so cool. You know, one thing about back trolling for walleyes is you can keep an eye on your depth finder, and this might be a pike. Might be a pike the way it's running that quick. Let's see what we got here. No, it's a walleye.
Yeah,
That's a nice
it's a
one.
nice walleye.
Yeah, very nice walleye.
This one might be too big for shoreline.
I don't know. Let's see. I think. Oh yeah. I think
That's
it might
a beauty,
be.
Bob.
All right. Whoa, baby. That is a good
I'd
one.
offer to help you out, but I'm friggin' jealous.
Don't be bitter.
Look at that.
Yeah, there we go. That's
Another one on the drop shot.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I appreciate you letting me use your drop shot hooks and weights. You know, when you want to get fish and you want a subtle presentation, there's nothing better than just a small hook, you know, about a number 1 size hook, about a 1/4 ounce weight, just like I've got here, and a gulp leech.
I will be wanting them back now, please.
Well, let's put this fish back in the water.
Back in Esnagi Lake.
I'm sure he knows what name of the lake
Yeah.
it is. There it goes. Hey, we were faced with some midsummer tough conditions. Cam and I had flat glass water conditions, no wind, mile-high skies, and those walleyes were belly to the bottom, so we really had to get them to eat. So what we were doing is we were using a drop shot rig, and a drop shot rig is very effective for walleyes that aren't going to move very far for your offering. And here's a drop shot rig that I use for my tournament bass fishing here. This Fenwick rod here is rigged up with a drop shot weight and a small hook up the line. And what we were doing is using a gulp leech. And I'm here in the sales store and they've got a big selection of gulp leeches. And these things are like using live bait, but the lodge also provided some live leeches. So we're using a combination of the gulp leech and live leeches for these inactive walleyes.
Pike action and shore lunch at Lodge 88 when we return. Stay tuned.
Oh!
All right. Very nice.
Nice one.
Now, we're getting out fish. Cam, what do you think?
I sell fish and stuff. I've made no claim of being a professional fisherman.
No.
But if I was you, I'd be a little concerned.
It's awful when every boat around you is catching more fish. I think we ate too much shore lunch. We're
Could
kind
be
of
slowed down the reaction time.
Yeah. Our hook setting timing is off. All right. Well, we'll just fish around you guys.
Oh!
Oh, nice.
Oh!
Nice.
Nice.
35 1/4.
You could stretch it to 36.
Come on.
Good
Mr.
one?
Pike. I think it feels like a
Oh, that's all right.
mediocre one.
Yeah.
He hit that lipless seeker. Actually,
Oh,
he more than hit it. He inhaled it. He took it very deep. You know, it's amazing how hungry some of these fish must be when they take a bait like this and totally get it in their mouth. There we go. He hit it like he was hungry. Of course, you know, you get these sunny days, they really do get active, the pike. And you've got, you know, all 4 boats in here. All our friends are in here. And everybody's caught pike in this little group. And we've only been here for 10 minutes, Cam. That's pretty quick, isn't it?
Well, it is August. Do you think they have a sense of what's coming?
Oh, with the long winter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a very short window to feed aggressively during the warm months. And then, of course, probably 5-6 feet ice here in the winter. You know, this time of year, it's an aggressive approach. You know, we're using big swim baits and, you know, these lipless crankbaits, and we're covering the water column pretty aggressively. What do you got there, Cam?
I think I got a walleye.
Alrighty.
A widow walleye.
A widow walleye. A widow walleye? You thought he was a putty cat? He did, he did. Oh, the hook
I love
came
my
out.
weight. And my wheel weech.
Well, there it is, folks. One of the best size eating walleyes you could ever ask for, right there.
Awesome.
It was a blast fishing with Cam Thompson at Lodge 88. I can't believe that we first met back in the early 80s when he helped me get my first Fenwick flipping stick. Time sure flies when you're having fun. And that's what I call real fishing. With my old buddy Cam Thompson from about 90 years ago, we go back. See you next time right here for some more real fishing. Yeah, all right. This is a big fish. That is a fish of a lifetime. Well, that is just amazing.
Look at that thing.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, man. Woo. That was too cool. Oh, man, what a fish. Look at that. Yes.